Before I start this video, only 21% of you, that's 1 in 5, are actually subscribed. So if you do enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Cheers.
Good morning guys, it's almost the afternoon. I've been getting a lot of questions lately on particularly how to become a lorry driver, how I became a lorry driver, and also how I got my job at such a young age. So I'm doing two separate videos, and this is how to become a lorry driver. But first, how have you guys been during this lockdown? The last video I did 3 weeks ago, we weren't even in lockdown at that point, and the weather has gotten really good, typically, of course. Yeah, anyway, so we'll get straight into it. A prerequisite, so what you need to start before you even consider doing your training is make sure you're 18 years old and you have your car license, which is your category B. I got my Cat B car license when I was 17 years and 2 months old, and then by the time I was 18, that was when I was ready to go for my class 2. So you need to be 18, and you need to have a car license in order to obtain your provisional and to put that on your license so that you can train. And that's quite simple. You just go online, you download two forms, what the DVLA call the D2 form and the D4 form. The D2 form is simply that's the application to say you want it, the provisional. And the D4 is the medical form, which you can complete with a GP or GP. The medical is pretty simple. It's a self-declaration, so there's no blood tests involved. Me personally, I hate needles. So once you've filled that D4 form out and the D2 form, you send those off to the DVLA in Swansea along with your driver's license, and they will send it back to you. They say allow for 3 weeks. I actually got mine within a week, but obviously the current situation, I'd give it some more time. And then once you have your license back, you should be able to go ahead and book the theory exams. Of course, you're going to want theory content. You can just do a quick search on Google. There's actually some really good information out there, and books and DVDs and things like that you can buy. I had a DVD which had mock exams on and things like that. The theory test is quite simple. It's in 2 parts. Much like your car exam, theory test, it's hazard perception and multiple choice. However, they're larger, so there's 100 questions in the multiple choice, of which you must get 85 correct to pass the section. And the hazard perception is 19 videos, 20 hazards in those videos, and the pass mark is 67 out of 100. So the pass marks are quite high. They have to be paid for separately, and the multiple choice is £26. And the hazard perception is £11. Now I'm going to just put this graphic up on the screen, probably on my left or your right, which just shows you what you have to complete in order to move on to the next stage. So as you can see, you've got multiple choice and the hazard perception. They must be completed before you can go and book your practical test. I will add that you must complete the multiple choice and hazard perception within 2 years of each other, and then you have 2 years to complete module 3, which is driving practical test. So module 2, which is slightly different to what you usually have seen in the Cat B, when you got your car license, it's effectively what allows you to drive professionally. This is the first part of the CPC, the Certificate of Professional Competence, and it involves case studies, which are effectively short stories. You usually get asked 8, 9, 10 questions on that case study, showing that you understand the rules, such as drivers, hours, brakes, things like that. They're usually pretty easy. Pass marks 40 out of 50, so there's 50, and you usually get 7 cases. Again, back to the graphic that I was talking about before, you must complete module 4 within 2 years of finishing module 2, the case study. So module 4 is the CPC practical demonstration, and of course we'll get to that in a minute. The case studies test is completed on a computer, much like the theory and hazard perception. I did it in the same building. I don't think I did it on the same day, however, same building, pretty much everything the same. However, it's £23 for that. Now onto the fun bit of CPC Module 3. So you've completed Module 1, which is the hazard perception and theory. So now you can book in for your actual driver training with the company of your choice. Just be careful not to choose a broker. Make sure you're talking to a real company. Expect to spend about £1,500 for the Class 2 training. That's if you pass first time. If you pass second or third, you've obviously got to look at cost of an extra test, as well as cost of maybe a lesson or 2. It's usually a 5-day course where you will have to take it off work, so make sure you've got some time that you can book off of work. And if you're furloughed at the moment, perfect, although I wouldn't imagine you can book at the minute. But anyway, it's 5 days with the test on the last day, usually Monday to Friday, and the test costs £115 on a weekday. The driving test with your examiner includes vehicle safety questions, a reverse procedure, which is quite simple. It's a little kind of S shape, really easy. You won't do that in real life. That's the easiest reverse you're probably ever going to get. But you know, just follow what your instructor says. And then the on-road practical side of it, which is the best bit. And lastly, on to module 4, which is the CPC practical demonstration. This is a bit of a money-making exercise, but don't tell anyone I said that. Effectively, what you're doing is proving to the examiner that you can do the walk around, you can detect anything that's wrong with the vehicle, as well as understanding how to secure loads and deal with stowaways and things along those kind of lines. It's a really easy test. It only lasts 10 minutes. Usually you get 5 topics from a list of the syllabus, the DVLA syllabus, and you must score a minimum of 15 out of 20 on each subject and a minimum of 80 overall. So it's a, you know, it's 80% pass rate really. Lastly is the CPC card, which you would need to wait for after passing Module 2 and Module 4. You won't have to pay for it unless you have a non-UK driver's licence, which is good. That saves you 25 quid. But one thing you will have to pay for is the tacho card. And the tacho card is £32 for a one-off fee. Obviously, if you lose it, you'll have to pay again, but that's a different thing. You can drive professionally before receiving your tacho card and CPC card, although I waited really. Just on a side note, most of you will be planning to drive for more than 5 years, I'd imagine, so just make sure you stay on top of the 35-hour classroom tuition rule to keep your CPC and to stay current with your training. But that's it, simple as that. That is how you become a HGV Class 2 driver. If you want to become a Class 1 driver, the only thing you have to do is do all the things I just said and then book Class 1 practical training. That is all you need to do, and pass the test. And there you go. Simple as that. That's another 1,500 quid. So you're looking at about 3,300-ish for a Class 1 license all out, and about 1,700 for a Class 2 if you pass first time without any extra training. So anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm gonna have more videos in the making very shortly. I just need to get off trunking. I'm trunking today, but hopefully we'll get something good with some good weather soon. So anyway, have a good one guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.